It's a sunny August morning in Bristol, and people everywhere are waking up to the sounds of burners and the spectacular sight of a sky filled with colour. This is the 1987 Halls Bristol International Balloon Fiesta, one of the foremost venues in the balloonist calendar. Robin Batchelor of the Hot Air Balloon Company describes the attractions of Bristol for him.
Well, I've been to balloon meets around the world, but this is very well organised. It's particularly successful because it's the heart of Cameron country. Don Cameron builds his balloons here in Bristol. I can hardly see the same happening in dear old Oswestry, where Colt balloons are manufactured. But it's a remarkable success, and it's growing each year.
The Fiesta attracts pilots from all over the world, and we spoke to Per Lindstrand, who recently crossed the Atlantic with Richard Branson in the massive Virgin balloon.
I think the Bristol Balloon Meet brings ballooning to the everyday public in a way they can come very close and see how it functions. And it's very exciting to see a cluster of balloons going off, in particular when talking in excess of 100, which is a very rare event. And I applaud Bristol for taking the initiative of doing this, because balloon meets is one notch above just flying your balloons. When you fly an aeroplane, it's obviously better not having a one nearby because it's a danger. Ballooning can produce a cluster of in complete safety, and it's obviously more fun to fly comparing your position and adjusting position for landing in a balloon. And balloon meets are probably the cream of the balloon flying.
Balloon pilots are sociable and entertaining people, which is of course consistent with their sport. One of the more colourful characters is independent balloonist Fred Fielder.
Personally, Dominic, I find ballooning 90% lunacy and 10% serious. And the serious side comes in with NFU, landing on farms and whatever. A lot of farmers have the needle with balloonists. They don't particularly like us, especially in Bristol, where they're more taught like that. You're not coming on this field, you're not welcome. Well, we don't intentionally land to make a nuisance of ourselves, but, you know, when we do land, you're committed once you're ripped to come down, especially when it's in an open area. So you've got to land, and consequently, one of the earaches is a lot of farmers, you know. We try to be cordial, and at the end of the day, the only solution is to sort of like offer them outside, take your jacket off, and 9 times out of 10 they remain very, very cordial after that, you know.
Pilots never know in advance where they are going to land, or how long it will be before their retrieval crew arrive. In the meantime, they need to pack up their balloon, and Robin Batchelor has discovered a novel way to get help.
But kids are the people of the future, and I love to plant the idea of a hot air balloon in their minds and also get them to help pack it away. So whenever I see a school, I'll find them well land on it, because they love it, and the teachers too. And it makes them go home and think about, well, that man landed in a balloon and he came out the sky, and I could do that. So I try and leave them stickers, and then they go home and paint a picture about it, and then, you know, the seed is sown. Now the next job is for you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, to help roll the balloon up into a great big ball. Okay, start there. Let's go.
Stay with me and point it there, right?
Oh, God! Stop it!
And if you can find my bowler hat in there, I'll give you 6pence. I lost it on the takeoff. So it's in there somewhere.
Your hat?
Yeah, my bowler hat. I can't go back to breakfast without my bowler hat. Okay, now then. When I say now, can you bring the whole... Shh! Can you bring the whole bag towards me, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, now! Now try and press it down the sides of the bag.
Someone to help.
Always. Ready? Listen. Ready? When I say now, to me again, okay? 1, 2, 3, now! Splendid! Got it. Press it all the way down the sides. You're nearly there. Well done, my darling. That's wonderful. We've been up since about, I don't know, 5 o'clock, so we're just ready for that. Field edge, old what?
Old carbon.
Computer Aid have recently begun to look upon balloons as an effective and relatively cheap advertising medium. At this year's Bristol International Balloon Fiesta, they sponsored a balloon and also had a marquee for staff and guests. We spoke to Maurice O'Brien, the managing director, about Computer Aid's role at the Fiesta.
Well, it's a new involvement. We feel we're now at a size where we should start to take an interest in sponsorship. We think sponsorship is a very good vehicle for getting our name around, and obviously our experience here today of the Balloon Fiesta is tremendous. We're enjoying it, our customers all seem to be enjoying it, and we're getting a lot of visibility.
At the moment you just have a balloon which I believe just has a hauling over it rather than your own personalised balloon. Do you see in the future you may sort of take the plunge and have your own personalised balloon?
Well, there seems to be an awful lot of enthusiasm amongst my staff, so I think there's a good possibility that might happen. Yes.
Do you feel it'll be cost-effective advertising?
I'm not sure what the total costs are, but it seems to be quite reasonable at the moment, and judging by the amount of advertising and exposure that's going on here, I would think it would be.
Other than the Bristol International Balloon Fiesta, do you attend a lot of other launches around the country?
To be honest, we haven't attended that many, but we have used the balloon on other sponsorships. We find, once again, it attracts a lot of interest, and it actually gets you a lot of coverage because it's different. And as a growing sport and a growing activity, I think it's the right thing to get in on.
Obviously, not everyone can have a launch. Therefore, a raffle was held to see that the lucky winners could have the opportunity of flying. One of the rules was that the winner could not enter or leave the balloon whilst in flight.
This is the only remotely formal part of this weekend, so I would like to welcome you all and say how very pleased we are that you were able to come. I think you've all received our High Flyers competition rules. You know you're not allowed to leave the balloon during this flight, and all the other very practical and sensible rules. For the one with the jump, Chris. What was the super glue on it?
Let me start, Tony.
Yep. The winner.
Ian Rickard.
Congratulations, Ian.
Right, thank you. It was obviously very well fixed, Tony, tell me all.
Arthur Pinder.
Terrific,
He's also taking Morris up.
This year's Fiesta was notable for many things, not least the Nashua record attempt whereby a double-decker basket was used to carry 45 people. The balloon itself has 850,000 cubic feet of air and is one of the largest in the world.
The risk is that the basket topples when it goes to wind, okay? Right. We're ripping out. Can you be careful the basket doesn't fall? Can somebody else help on the crown line, please?
Unfortunately, the Saturday morning attempt failed. However, on Sunday morning, a successful launch was completed and an unofficial world record set. This year's Fiesta was blessed by near-perfect weather throughout the event. The evenings at Ashton Court were filled with the sounds of preparations. Fans rattled in the distance, and the burners began to roar as the pilots got ready for another massed ascent. One cannot fail to be excited by the whole concept of ballooning, and we spoke to Robin Batchelor about the growing popularity of the sport.
When I started in about 1971, I knew all the pilots in Europe, all the balloonists in Europe, but now I don't. You know, it's grown an enormous amount, and thanks to the manufacturers, Camerons and Colts in Britain, it's incredible the renewed enthusiasm, especially now the Atlantic has recently been flown by Per Lindstrand and Richard Branson. And so it's enjoying, I think the Sports Council say it's the most rapidly growing sport in Britain. I've been completely immersed in the commercial angle of it, which is an incredible success. I got a lot of flack in the early days because I'm a very enthusiastic balloonist, and in those days one was expected to be a pure, not wealthy adventurer because I'm an ordinary guy, you know, and I'm making my living at it to help pay for it. But the ordinary unsponsored balloonist gave me a bit of a hard time, but now it's okay to have your balloon sponsored, and that is certainly an ever-increasing industry. We at the Hot Air Balloon Company are constantly thinking of new ways of making it interesting to the media like yourselves. Like in the Alka-Seltzer balloon, we've got the highest trapeze act in the world from underneath the balloon. But there'll be a time where we can't think of any more new angles on balloons, and so there might be a saturation point, but there will always be people who love to just leave all the hassle behind and get up into the sky in a balloon for an hour or two, and then come back down again.
we asked Per Lindström about the benefits of his record-breaking transatlantic balloon flight.
We use record-breaking, like the transatlantic flight, as a proving ground for new materials, new technologies, and we may, in a couple of years from now, introduce, say, fabrics in balloons, which we tried across the Atlantic, that will give you lower fuel consumption, better performance, longer life. So, apart from the sort of record exploration bit, there is a very serious note to it. Ballooning is a conservative sport. You will see no dramatic changes in the technology because there can't be, by definition. Ballooning is conservative in the sense that it's gentle, it's more like flying poetry than humming engines and roaring propellers or jets. It's therefore, the progress will be very evolutionary in the way that you have lower fuel consumption, they live longer, they're easy to pack, they're easy to handle, but you can't do much dramatic in the change of that technology.
At the end of a superb weekend, we asked Don Cameron how important he feels he is to ballooning.
Oh, I'm quite sure if I disappeared tomorrow, ballooning would still go from strength to strength. It's one of these ideas which, its time had come, it suddenly became practical to go ballooning.
All pilots have tales of their travels, and the best time to hear them is over a drink at the end of the day. Predictably, Fred Fielder was able to provide us with the most apt anecdote.
One of my landings was on top of a scout up. There's about 12 scouts in there, dibbing, and they smacked straight through the roof. It was unintentional, it's just one of those things that happen, you know, an unfortunate accident. And they all come running out with Skip, the lead light. I said, you weren't prepared for that, were you little buggers? Cost me 47 quid to put a fascia board on, but at the end of the day, it was a smashing flight.
It's the principal balloon gathering of Europe. Here we have over 130 balloons, all launching one after another. It's fantastic looking at the effect it's having on the citizens of Bristol. There must be 30,000 in Ashton Court alone, and the rest are all scattered out in parks, stuck in the traffic jams, bless them, in hotel car parks, right the way across Bristol. It's fantastic.
Balloons will always have a curious attraction. The Soul balloon is a feature in itself, but a mass ascent is a memorable experience. The 1987 Halls Bristol International Balloon Fiesta achieved new heights. 132 balloons were launched within 1 hour, 7 minutes, an official world record. But statistics alone cannot convey the atmosphere of an event that fills an entire skyline with grace and colour.